Welcome back, one and all, to the Mediterranean Poker Party 2025, taking place at this very gorgeous Merit, North Cyprus location. That has, of course, the Royal Diamond. That's where the action is taking place underground here, and it is, of course, the Luxon Pay Day 2. That's who you got on the call with you to start this off. It is myself, James Dempsey, and, of course, Jay Harwood. Jay, when those pictures were taken last year when we were battling it out here on that very feature table.
I hate to start the stream with a bad beat, but I remember getting one outed by Picasso, actually. That's when that photo was taken. Probably not in that instance with a smile on my face.
Well, there we go. Poker Oak Mystery Bounty, that one is in the books. We are now firmly focused on this Luxon Pay Grand Final. We saw day one action yesterday. Today, picking things up pretty close to the money and not insignificant bubble here. It's 2x the blind, 4K min cash, but of course, we're going to do our best to work our way all the way down to that final table structure today. A little bit more elongated than it was on day one, and will further stretch out as we get to that final table. Nice to see the powers that be giving you guys plenty of play. There you go, confirmation. 248 remain of the 1,452 entries. 215 paid. So we're, what, 33 away from the money. Massively eclipsing that guarantee, Jay. We needed 1,000 entries. With 1,500, no worries.
Just seems always the way here at Merit. Guarantee smashed out the park whenever we seem to come at $4,000 for that min cash. If you can outlast 33 players.
Yeah, but, I mean, come on. No one's coming here to min cash. We're looking at this payout. A monstrous $375,000 will go to our eventual champion. Second place, picking up a cool $250,000. Top four, almost top five, getting into that six-figure territory. And everyone on that final table, of course, guaranteed $37,500. But a long way to go till we get to that point. For now, our focus will be firmly on that bubble period. And I always find this such an interesting part of the day because it's how the big stacks react with the short stacks. And here we go. This is what we've got kicking things off down a Luxon table. We see Lucas Pasma up there. One of those big stacks gets to really drive the action here, doesn't he? And leverage his position against especially the medium stacks.
That's how it's supposed to go. The big stacks just get to play as wide as possible. The middle stacks don't really want to get involved. And like the short stacks are just trying to outlast the other short stacks, really.
I love the way you say, that's how it's supposed to go. You're putting the little Merit caveat on that one. Oh, this is actually an interesting table here because look at this. Andre's got the chip lead at the table, but with only 1 million in chips, that's lower than the average. So no one on this table having average stack. What a boon that is when you draw this table, right?
That's the thing people don't look at. There's hidden run good in table draws sometimes, and having 27 bigs coming into a day two near the bubble and covering everyone at your table is unique in a way.
Yeah, absolutely insane that he's managed to get this. And the same for sort of Strobel and Sapien in there as well. They're going to benefit from that, counter that here to Gunez in their second in chips. Okay, there's not much between them. There's not much Smith's going to do to go crazy against him, but he certainly has to play that little bit tighter than he would do if he was the chip leader.
Yeah, the other thing that you need to take into account is table draw as well. So where have they sat? If we're on their direct left, we get to punish a bit more. If they're on our direct left, we need to be slightly tighter. So table draw everything at this stage.
And interesting here, look at this. Ruslan Kasper, 7th in chips here with 950k, would almost be chip leader on that table. And Recep Aydemir, I noticed, is the one propping up chip stacks on that table. A regular here at Merit. There he is in seat 1. Those of you who do watch often from this place will be familiar with him. And of course, Onyx is where we will get things underway today as we, I can say arguably the most interesting part of the day for me is this, or certainly the early part of the day will be this bubble period, see how players take to it.
Well, for us as the commentators, yes, it's the most entertaining part of the day. If you sat there with 6 big blinds, it's probably the most stressful part of the day for you. So we'll see how it plays out, see who tries to take the reins as the big stack, see if there's any sort of short stacks that just have the don't care and happy to get it in and not fussed about the $4,000 min.
Well, I'm pretty sure Shalamov is older because we are looking at Aydemir, who is that short stack with just 10 blinds and finds 2 8s. Here we go.
395.
Let's run it. I promise you, Shalamov. I'm pretty sure Shalamov folded. Just dealer communication error, pardon me. The words out today, Jay. So excited.
Aydemir here. Gonna have to win a flip. Chip leader at the table. Mark Smith finds ace jack and makes the call.
Yeah. Just kind of went from straight away, huh? I mean, 10 blinds, ace jack against someone who's ideally going to be playing pretty tight.
We are at merit though. So that's the other thing. People may be more inclined to get it in looking for the win and what's up top rather than that $4,000 min cash.
So then, can the merit reg get a little bit of joy at a table that's brought him plenty of joy in the past? No, is the answer on that flop. Yeah, as well. 1 foot and 4 toes out the door. Okay, there's another way. Set 9 for a straight.
Jack of diamonds on the river seals the fate first hand for Idemir.
GG's, my friend. You like that? You're in the room, you hear seat open, seat open. We're going to hit a little bit of it. But you imagine this slows down as we get ultra close. Obviously, 33 away, stuff to lose more than 10% of the remaining players.
Yeah, field size makes a difference though, like what we've got here, like a 28, 29 table bubble, so when it's like 2-3 tables it can go on for a while, but I don't expect this to last too long with the amount of tables out there.
I should really say, guys in merit, they ain't here for the min cashes. Small cut. He's going to try and exert some pressure, but I mean, optimistic perhaps with the Jack 5-0 from the cutoff with covering stacks behind.
Yeah, I've got no
last 10 seconds
indication why we'd be opening this one. Smoker getting a little bit out of line here.
Kagordashev was thinking about it for a moment there. He was, I mean, if he's itching to get that involved, then perhaps maybe some sort of stalling tactic from him.
It's 2025, lots of stalling usually going on the bubble. Everyone just aware. The clock is your friend at this stage. If you slow things down, other tables play more hands, potential for more bust outs and getting close up to being in the money.
He was staring at the tournament clock there whilst thinking, oh, hang on, we didn't see action from the big blind. Yeah. So what's the big blind set out?
That makes sense. Still think Jack 5 with 2 players covering to our left is a bit optimistic, but with the big blind set out, felt like it was easy pickings.
Yeah, obviously the start of the day here. Maybe still down on the pier, enjoying some lunch in the buffet, who knows? Sarakoglu, 2 kings. Throwing in a time extension chip with 6 blinds. We know where these are going.
Equal.
He's going with a limp. Oh. Well, it's got Houghton in behind with Queen Jack suited. Talk to me, Jam, a little.
Yeah, I'm trying to think as well. I'm going through the cogs right now, thinking why we'd ever limp here as Sorokoglu, just allowing the big blind to check and realise equity for free. Obviously, it's worked out on this occasion. We've got Houghton to put it in with 22% and good shape for a double. Not too sure about the limp here. And even as Kev, like, got to be a bit wary about this limp. When someone limps off a 6 bigs, it's like, what on earth have they got?
On the bubble.
Exactly. Is it just always aces or kings?
Yeah, perplexing, certainly, because, I mean, just jamming, even with kings and just taking the blinds down, is an amazing boon at this stage. Look at this flop, Queen Jack 10. Houghton somehow finds the lead, but, of course, so much equity still held in those 2 kings. This one now effectively a flip. Flip no more. Big favourite. Knockout Sarakoglu. That is what he will do in style, rivering the nuts. Yeah, just to, like, even with 6 blinds, sure, in theory, we don't want to accumulate chips. You've got 2 kings, it's a great spot. But on the bubble, just getting that through, by an orbit, we said this bubble probably won't take too long just because it is merit. People love to go hard.
Interesting from Kev's perspective as well. Does he feel like he's ever got any limp folds off a 6, which is kind of interesting because once someone limps off a 6 on the bubble, I'm just going to make the assumption we've not got any fold equity to get this 6 big blind stack to fold, but it's all about timing.
Go. Big pot for him as well because he only had, what, 12 blinds, I think, himself.
I think 14, yeah, around 14 Kev come into the day with.
So a big pick up for him over at the GTD live table. Smolka opening up again, this time far more playable. King Jet suited. Savitavakius. He's in here 2-7s from the cutoff. Both players around that 20 big blind mark. Sayapin closing the action in the big. With this ace-5-0, we kind of see these hands that, like, they don't tend to actually fare that well, do they, when we go three-way in these spots?
Yeah, that's the thing. We're likely to be dominated here as Sayapin, drawing to 3 outs. And when we go multi-way, sometimes we're like double locked, so reduced equity in the spot. And then, like, the times it comes like ace high off of our stack, if we lose a big one, suddenly we're then in that zone where probability-wise we've increased our chance of bubbling.
Right, well, as it is, finds a piece on the King 5-3, but is in third place up against these two holdings. Smolka sending it on over to the Lithuanian.
They're going to see a lot of checks out of position, even with our top pair. Saptavicius here. With the 7s, may feel like needs some protection once check 2. Don't mind small bet. Just flushing out like a Queen Jack, Jack 10 suited, Ace Queen. Going to be a win within itself.
It feels like we'll come even more so with the red 7s, right? Like, there's so many bad turn cards for that hand. It's just going to go for this. And it may see a continue here, of course.
3 call.
Sayapin having found a piece on the flop, and Smolka now, by checking, has got 2 players to put in bets with inferior holdings.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting now for Smolka, like no club in our hand. Is there ever any raising going on here? Probably not. Saptavicius can still have some king queen, some sets, 5s and 3s potentially. Don't think we're worried too much about Sayapin. Can definitely still be behind here. Saptavicius here. Always continuing Demps. It's just whether to play cool or whether to take the aggressive route. And it looks like he's gone for the latter.
Understandable, being on the bubble, kind of your opponent's less likely maybe to bluff turn. You just want to take your equity here. Blast off those draws. Maybe your opponent somehow calls worse. He's got to be a little bit worried about King Queen.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when we get called here, we're not really loving life unless we're up against like ace 3 of clubs, which we're flipping against. So, like, even King 10, you're going to struggle to call off here on the bubble with this action taking place. That's kind of the problem with it. It's difficult to get called by worse, except from a high equity hand. But when we are this close to the money, I can see it. I can see it.
Vikius making a meal of this, but one imagines just buying some time after getting that chip count in with just, what, 16 blinds behind.
Yeah, terrible hand to call with here. 7s, just run equity versus range. If we're up against King X, we're going to be drawing two outs. We're going to have around 10%. And even we're up against an Ace Queen of clubs, Ace Jack of clubs, we're going to have 50% equity. So it's a situation of either 10% or 50%. Not a good scenario to be in. Does eventually let it go.
It's one of those where Smolka's like pretty relieved when both players fold, right? You're like, I have made this move for value, but also, could be dicey. As it is, now has the chip lead on this table, the one we earmarked as being pretty shallow stacked. You see, he's the only one with 30 blinds, and already set out his stall. We saw him open up with the Jack 5-0, and I can see whoever the gentleman is has just sat down in seat 1. I guess that's whose blind it was he stole. I come in just to see Smolka pulling one in. Over at Luxon, Gadjiev waiting from the small with the 9-7-0, and Kanmei in the big with 10-5 off. Is this one of the spots where, like, the small can start to raise a lot more because of the bubble?
Yeah, potentially. Gadjiev could attack here when covering. Maybe we need to cover slightly more rather than, what is it, 5-6 big blinds we cover by it. Can still put ourselves in danger if we double our opponent up. But 10-5 going to take the initiative as Kanmei.
Yeah, nicely done, sir.
There's little things that people have all the time. That's a tea, is it? Yeah.
There was some conversation there about a beverage being consumed at the table. I think somebody thought the whole time they've been drinking whiskies, but it turns out it's the Turkish tea. He must be thinking everyone's getting absolutely hammered out here. Turkish tea does look a little bit like whiskey, not served in a similar vessel, but colour-wise, I can understand the confusion. Casper, Queen 8 of diamonds,
cold one.
Activating here,
Cold
Sebastian, the
water.
covering
And a
stack in
glass
the
bottle.
small. I'm not quite familiar with the
Thank you
stack
so much.
behind him, but
And ice latte.
certainly one of these hands that
Yep.
really can attack at this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, exactly right, Dempson, at like 20 effective prime stack to do it, because Casper shouldn't be playing any flats here, just going to be playing 4-bet send or fold, so it's not like a situation we get into a bloated pot with ace-7 off out of position, making it 230.
That's a great point. People sometimes get lost in that, recognizing your opponent is just going to jam or fold. At least in theory.
Well, yeah, because here he comes with the queen-8 of diamonds here. But the problem with this with Casper, the times we catch a piece, we catch an 8 for top pair, we catch a queen for top pair. But opponent's still going to have the dominated hands, the overpairs, the king-queen, the ace-queen. Suddenly, we can just be out the door when we catch a decent piece.
I love it when the merit players just make us liars instantly. Here we go then, 540k pot and a 10-5-3 rainbow board. So in that mind, if you're in Sebastian's mind, are you thinking this is just traps? Yeah, the
I don't
traps
think so.
even trap,
Yeah,
right?
people don't trap on the bubble, Demps. That's the thing. People, if they've got aces, kings on the bubble, they don't necessarily trap.
So
Like post bubble. Like I'm just gonna expect Casper to have a lot of like suited connectors, taking the price like 8-9 suited, 7-8 suited. Like hand like he has, I would just expect to go into them up, but I would just expect him to play 4-bet or fold at this stage of the tournament. So when someone calls in a spot, you're not expecting them to play any flats. It can be difficult to range your opponent sometimes.
Seems like though Sebastian may well be in the same mindset as you. He's thinking, hey, like, better aces would have surely made noise. Don't think he's trapping. Therefore, C-bet may well just knock out equity from those suited connectors you mentioned. And I mean, this one in particular, Queen 8, the one suit that isn't on the board, Casper is gone. And nice little Brucey bonus for Sebastian.
It's really nice to come over there. You see different styles, different strategies, people playing the game differently, a different outlook on how it should be played.
Once more, if you're just joining us, welcome. Play just getting underway here at Merit. It is the Luxon Pay Grand Final, day 2 of 3. We're going to try and get down to the final, or at least as near as possible. With so many entries, that may be a tall order. Dowling. It's 5 deuce of clubs. This one blind on blind. This is a limp from the small, check from the big. Both players kind of enjoying that flop a little bit.
Got some action turns for sure.
Ooh. Here we go. Clubs v clubs. That deuce, still best.
And I feel like as Dowling here, yes, we cover on the bubble. Maybe it's one of these situations we can start turning a deuce into a bluff, usually blind on blind like a pair wants to hunt for showdown, but this may be one of these nuances where we can just get after it, blocking 2 players, blocking the flop nuts of 5-3, and just target the 4x and 6x. Imagine sat there as Cammy on the bubble and you've got a 6 and you have to call a triple barrel for your tournament life. You're in a horrible spot.
Yeah, when you've just limped in, your opponent can have all this kind of garbage. Here we go. Here comes the 130k bet.
Yeah, the only thing here from Dowling, I probably would have sized up here, just going closer to pot. Just then in Cammy's head on the river, he's going to be already on the turn. When we're faced with pot, in our head, we're going to be faced with it all on the river with the 6 and a 4, might start folding turn already.
Oh,
but Cammy,
hang on. Hang on. Wow. Coming with check raise. Now, this is a little surprising, is it not? Because everything you just said would make us believe, hey, like Dowling's just going to perhaps overbluff. If I have a good hand, do I not trap? Or is this case maybe, you know, he's trying to rep a good hand that has vulnerability?
yeah, I think without ICM, this close to the bubble, this would actually be a tidy little combo to choose. 7 high, always folding out better, lots of equity when called. But like this close to the money, when we get jammed on, we just, what, we got a combo draw and we're going to be getting, what, like 3.5 to 1? Would we just have to call off?
Well, the check raise has been called. Both players, in effect, miss. He's found it. He's found the jam. With 7 high, take a bow.
Yeah, what a sick puppy on the bubble. You don't see this too often. Dem's done plenty of bubble coverage in mid-time, and it's rare that you find a player that has got it in them to play the check raise, ask for the lot on the river. But Cammy has it in the locker, and how can Dowling call here with just a deuce?
All right, is he seeing this as some sort of trap pre, maybe a hand like aces? Ace-king, perhaps.
Well played. Can make.
Yeah, that's class. I mean, fair play to Dowling. You know, there wasn't much done wrong there. He tried to apply the pressure on the bubble, had a pair and a flush draw. Just went the wrong way for him, can we?
Yeah, take some heart that.
I wonder what would have happened if we'd seen that river just go check. Would Dowling have felt the need to honestly blast off with the deuce, try and make the vodka? There's the Turkish tea. Not whiskey.
It looked like a shot.
There was a shot that came as well of something. I'm not quite sure what. Maybe like a ginger shot or something.
Okay, it's not alcoholic.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it would be early to start getting on the shots. Day 2, level 1.
500. 500.
Just get a bluffer on the bubble with 7 high. Have a shot to celebrate. Why not?
If that had come one hand earlier, maybe the call would have come in. Okay then, Smith over at the Onyx. And a lovely little situation here. Shalamov popping up ace 10 of diamonds and as the table chip leader coming in with this
Call.
Rebet. Gunes coming in from the big blind, suited king queen, perhaps recognizing he does pretty well against some of those light 3-bets. Shalamov deciding, hey, I'll take my price. 3 big stacks taking a flop.
There are nearly 20 bigs in there. Multi-way.
Ace Jack 8, all heart. Slow everyone down, you would imagine.
Yeah, I think even the Smith not in love with this flop, but I feel like multi-way do need to stab small, just flush out some bare heart hands.
Right, I guess there's some like 9s of 9 of hearts.
Yeah, like 9s, 10s, not wanting to get it involved. Even something like 7s that Shalamov can have going set mine, closing the action, just 7s with a hearts, 9s with a heart, 10s with a heart. Even maybe like, I doubt the king queen off's going to be peeling as Shalamov closing the action, but we've seen worse for sure the last couple of days here, so difficult to know what the ranges look like. Did Ace King just fold?
Wait, Shalamov has led? Is that what's... No, we're on the Shalamov now. It's just, again, just a little bit of miscommunication. I think the Ace King has bet. I think Gunas has folded the big blind,
right,
and the action is now on Shalamov. Yeah, I was going to say.
10 seconds.
So exactly what you're saying. This is so tough for him, isn't it? Facing the 3-bet, to continue here. We have no real future playability in this holding. Was a 3-way pot as well, which gives even more credence to the continuation bet.
Yeah, like we expect our opponent to just check all his kings, queens, 10s, stuff like this, any king jack suited. So, like, where are the bluffs going to come from? And he makes a top-notch lay down there.
Well played, sir.
With the ace 10.
Am I allowed to put my sunglasses here?
Okay.
Miss, am I allowed to keep it here? The sunglasses?
Ok, dar n-ai măsuță în spate?
Ba da, dar sunt mai la îndemân.
Здрасте. Здравствуйте. Исполнили договоренность, встретились на финальном столе.
Пока не финал.
Вот так, пока наполовину.
Something for everyone.
Two check. 4 check.
So picking up here. The ace jack 3.
2 bets 75. 4 plus 2 you.
Dowling. Just going to go for the delay with his top pair. That one out of the way.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. He just ran into a man capable. Like you say, it's so rare you see someone willing to take that line on a bubble as the covered stack. Back over at the Onyx. Orlov. Our first look at him. He's playing his ace 8 from +1. Smith behind king jack. Both players catching a piece. Orlov going to check. Kind of surprise. I mean, understandable, right? Given it's the bubble.
Yeah, even so, like Smith's hand's just going to play much better as a 3-bet here. We don't need to go good big. We can just go get like 4 bigs, 4.5 bigs in position. And once again, like Frolov with that stack depth, what, 17, 18 to start the hand? He shouldn't be playing any flats. Should just be 4-bet send or fold, but Smith choosing to take this approach, going with call.
125.
On the turn is when Frolov decides to start putting some chips in there, but turn card clearly far better for Smith as he picks up that flush draw.
Yeah, like the check on the flop from Frolov though, once we get hit. Like, general rule of thumb, when heads up against the player on our direct left out position, we play heavy check. Now we've popped back, interesting from Frolov here. Do we get the calls from like the king queens, the king jacks, the king tens? Or is it just check and hope to show down? And I probably like the latter.
Right, pop behind. Really don't want to bet and face a raise. So happy to see the snap check back. Ideally be up exactly against the hand, exactly like you mentioned. The king jacks. Nice pick up.
Wouldn't expect offsuit to be in there, but like all the king queen through king 10 suited. Which looks a lot like Smith, what Smith has.
Smith leading the way here.
You look at the Onyx table and like the chips on here, you've got Frolov's second from bottom, and on the other table he'd be near chip leader. It's crazy how table draw takes effect this close to the money.
It's so tough. Jafari, he's all in with 2 7s. And in bad news for him, as Schmolka has woken up with the hooks round the back. 6-6 board, okay. Jafari going, well, I didn't hit, but we've seen runouts before where 2 7s can get out of this. There's the chance. For 10 blinds and doesn't manage to find it on the end. Instead it's Schmolka who improves the house. Ripping through these players as Jalal, the latest bust out. Screen showing 228 players left. Yeah, like here you go. This is the table we're mentioning, right? Okay, so take Schmolka out the way. Second in chips here with $1 million would be second from bottom on the other table. So much luck, as you previously mentioned, in your draw in these situations.
Schmolka nearly doubled his stack, and we go back to that first hand of the day, Jack 5 off. Maybe he looked at his table at the start of the day and thought, if I could put some leeway between me and the rest, it's a real good chance to chip up. So maybe he was just thinking about some future game.
Yeah.
Opening early on, trying to...
Right, just inching that little bit ahead, getting to 40 blinds, could suddenly exert on those other short stacks. Maybe willing to take that risk.
Last 5
Not willing to risk things here is Pasma with the 3 million chip stack and 2 kings. He's 3-bet the Dowling open. Gadamian now having a tough spot here, isn't he? 12.5 blinds. He knows this can be nonsense, but with the 2x bubble.
Got it. You got to fold in theory. It's one of these that if you're like playing for the outright win and you want to try and build your stack here and now, people are just going to go with it. But I feel theoretically, I'm pretty confident 10s just fold here. But he's going to run it.
Is he cold called?
Is he called? Okay.
Cold called, and that's going to allow Dowling in kind of a dreamy scenario for him because, you know, probably wasn't too enthused to call the 3-bet, but suddenly additional 200k, he now gets to just play fit or fold. And
One pass.
Strange ongoings to start the day.
Is this just a case of like, hey, I just want to see a good flop and I'll commit the rest? And
yeah, potentially what he's thinking, but I'd still just let him go here. I always say that the way to look at the bubble, rather than look at it as a min cash, look at it as a ladder. Like you're laddering from $0 to $4,000, and then when you go later into the tournament, the next time you're going to get a $4,000 pay jump. It's probably close to like 20 left, I'm going to guess.
Right, yeah, it will be really late on, of course. And these 3 take to the flop, and 885 gets revealed. I mean, this is disaster for Gadamian if he was playing that strat. I mean, Dowling doesn't mind this board, but I wonder how he squares up the range of Gadamian himself.
5 check.
Pasma finds the check.
Now, what, 0.4 SPR just north of us. Gadamian seeing 2 checks in front of us. We probably feel compelled to put it in now we get here.
And how nice is this from Pasma in the sense that not only Is he going to get Godamian to bet here? But he gets to see the
Lost in a
Dowling
second.
act as well. Just gets that extra nugget of information. Here comes the all but one maneuver. Just perhaps with a view to burning some time. This is horrible for Dowling right now. I mean,
yeah, I feel like it's a pretty simple fold because you've got to think about what Gadmian has when it goes open free bet and he wants the cold call. So, like his range, he's going to do this with on the bubble with better pairs than ours, and then something like ace queen of diamonds potentially. And once again, just look how the equities are running. We're up against a bigger pair. We're going to have 2 outs. We're going to have around 10%. If we're up against the ace queen of diamonds, we're actually probably going to be slight dog, like maybe like 48, 47 because of the backdoor counterfeit out there as well. So it's not really a good situation to be in. Either just shy of 50% or drawing to 10% equity.
yeah,
Out of the way.
Passes the test nicely. Asma does declare full in.
Raise 525, 6 all
And you
in.
hate this as the 10s when the original opener sets you in for your last chip.
Go then, 1.3 million chip pot. The chip leader with the best of it. Get himself up to 4 million. Godamian perhaps feeling a little unlucky here, given that it was up against the chip leader. 3-betting another big stack. Could be so much junk in here. Looked like he'd given up as well, just checking the flop over to Godamian. Well, 10 to 10 only with one more pull of his tournament. Alas, his race is run.
Lovely stack to have for
6,
Lucas Pasma.
queen 5.
Yeah, I mean, we're ripping through this
open
bubble.
table 3.
We said 217 paid, so we're 8 away from the money. We've already got rid of, what, 25 players?
Yeah, and I've just had a little look at the payout, so I pulled it up here. So you're going to get your next $4,000 ladder, 16th to 15th. So you've got to knock your way through 99% of the field, nearly, just under, to get another $4,000 ladder gem. So that's how crucial it is to actually get on the right side of the money when you're one of these like 10 to 15 big blind stacks.
Yeah, there we go. That's how we started today. Please don't be fooled by this. We came back with 248, but we are far closer to the money now. With 215 paid.
Please.
Over the Onyx. More action from Frolov. Opening this time a far more playable hand with ace queen and Smith. Looks like this time he is going to come out with the 3-bet. Casper, one of those. If I'm sitting here, I'll be honest with you, Jay. I know I'm so close to the money. I know I can pretty much get there by folding. I look down at 2/8 and there's a race and I pull up. I'm like, oh no, I've got a jam. When the button 3-bets, I'm like, okay, it's an excuse. It's an excuse. I don't have to play it.
You do not have to play H there. Similar to the 10 spot we just see, obviously later positions in question, but once more, no need to get involved here. It's just so crucial that we get on that right side of the money when we're at this stack depth, especially in a field of this size when it shouldn't be taking too long.
I'm actually curious what, I mean, if you're in his shoes and there wasn't a 3-bet here, say the button folded, do we actually still have to jam?
Yeah, I feel like we do still have to jam. Like, it's important to have fold equity, that's the thing as well. Like, make sure you've still got a stack where your opponent can have raised folds. If you've got a stack where they're just always priced in, then less inclined to take it. Like here, for example, for Frolov, you've got the big stack 3-betting, you cut off versus button, you've got ace queen, you just pick up these 5.5 big blinds so often in the form of a jam. So Frolov spot's too good here with ace queen, but
I would say more like if Casper was 3-bet jamming over Frolov, say Smith wasn't in this pot, I never quite know what to do in situations with a 2x min cash, whether I can just fold and not tell anyone I had 8s.
Ace is slightly too good in my opinion against cutoff specifically. I wouldn't take it versus Garden or +1, but against cutoff, I was like it's
all smiles and a jam. That's not what you want to see when you're Smith. This guy's got no qualms. Comes out with a little speech, and a shove.
This is what we want to be doing as the stack that's covered. We want to be asking the questions, sending the ball back into Smith's court, being the player that's shoving. Like, you don't want to be the one calling off jams on the bubble when you're always running it and getting to showdown. Unless you've got aces, of course.
Есть и money.
Gets one through, and we won't begrudge Smith the move.
Like a boss.
Какая карманка была?
Туз дама.
I think I dodged the bullet.
Smith still
Trying to
leads
go
this
in.
table
I had 8s.
by a little bit more than that. So
But
yes.
not?
We misassigned his pot to Shalamov earlier. A little bit deeper.
6 raise.
Smolka being the star of this table thus far. Continuing to apply the pressure. Exactly what you said. Willing to step out, willing to risk a little bit to generate this situation. You call it future game equity. Allows him to be in there with this 6 high from the cutoff. He's enjoying watching these guys all tank as well behind. He's like, you boys tank all you want. You keep folding tight. The big yes. Tayev. Well, now he has joined us. Imagine this ace queen is going to join in this hand.
17 bigs here once again. When Smolka's got chip lead, he's probably going to be opening like close to 70% on the bubble. So we just get so many folds here. Pick up the extra 2 bigs.
It's still one of those, you never really enjoy it in the moment, do you?
You don't. But you know you got to do it.
Yeah.
Smolka aware of the job at hand, just the snap fold. Don't want to tank meaninglessly. We want to get as many hands in as possible.
This goes on the better for him on this table. Queen 8-4 board over at the Onyx. Oh, this potential battle here. In fact, what's going on here? Frolov is open as Smith is just called with the Queen 6 in the cutoff. Just trying to play as many pots as possible against the man on his right who he covers, one assumes. And Karastev.
This would actually be a really tidy 3-bet like on the bubble. When risk premium of our opponents is high, we do get to dip into some suited queens as our 3-bet bluffs as well. So would have potentially got it done as Smith if we took the aggressive route pre, but now we could potentially be in some bob-up.
One saving grace with that turn card in particular is both players are going to be frozen here. Karastev happy just to try and get this to showdown now. I'd imagine Smith the same. Much deeper stacked.
Probably going to see check a lot here. It's reaching.
Plus 5.
125.
5, but 125.
This is cutthroat value here with the king queen.
You know how many?
Like even Smith can have some ace X that stab the
How many
flop
people?
in position, check back when the flush completer comes in.
205?
215.
But against Smith's particular hand,
Oh, hang on.
215.
Is he piecing together a raise?
Almost probably.
I believe those whites are the 100Ks. What's the 5K? So he's 350, going 375, a little cherry on top. Wow, what a play. You're recognizing that this is thin value, not allowing it. How much are you hating life now having bet this king queen?
and what are we trying to get fold here? First question Smith should be asking himself. Are we trying to target an ace? But there's not really any ace X out there from the big blind. Big blind's check call flop, so with the ace of diamonds coming on the turn, ace X of diamonds is not a thing, so should never really be any ace X in there unless this ace is up for our opponent. It's interesting what we're trying to target here, because I'd never expect Queen 10, King Queen to value that.
Oh, it makes the reluctant call.
After this hand, please. Start to deal, please.
Wow, Kardashev probably not expecting to see that hand. A few nods of approval around the table.
I'm sorry, but the other question as well, as the chip leader, it's rare on the bubble when you're chip leader that you play traps because people think that you're going to be overdoing it with bluffs anyway. So when we have our value on the turn, when we have a flush, we just fire.
Right.
When we have a set, when we have two pair, we're just going to continue betting and putting chips in the middle because people know we're incentivized to get after it, and that means we're
85.
going to be getting called down light up.
So it's almost like we only had to repping the ones that improved on the Jack of Spades. So
10-9, 10-9 suited.
10-9, a King 10 or Queen Jack, and that's about it, right? Then King 10, arguably, maybe just barreling on the turn anyway.
Exactly. So it's literally maybe like 10, and even 10-9 suited probably barrels the ace turn
so
as
it's
well.
like Queen Jack, maybe it's like the only hand.
One re-raise.
Impressed that he pieced it together that quickly with the King Queen and did find the correct decision.
Gadjev on the button. 25 blinds. He's invested a couple here. Only the man who
Last 10 seconds.
Jay so far with that beautifully played blind on blind bluff against this man.
We do cover both here as Dowling, but I would be surprised to see any continues with pocket threes here. It's going to be interesting for Gadjev when he's back on the button. I can't really see an avenue in which he doesn't 4-bet 7 for 25.
Last 5 seconds. Last 10 seconds. Pre-flop 20. Flop 30, yeah.
First one's 20, the rest are 30, no?
After the card, 30.
So 30 after, yeah, 30 after the card.
Что у нас 30 ставится после рейса. У нас же на флопе только 30 идет.
20 seconds to act, but pre-flop and 30 seconds to act post-flop. But once you use a time extension chip, they're always worth 30 seconds. So it's not like using it pre-flop only gets you 20.
Flop 30, pre-flop 20.
Pre-flop 20. After flop,
No. First time is
The good thing about having this conversation for longer and longer is that he's buying himself time.
Yeah, exactly that.
even after
To be fair, Dowling
Нет,
won that. That's an okay stack, 40 bigs on the bubble.
нет.
Healthy spot to be in.
Они мне чешут.
I can understand if we're stalling here. We had like 15, 16. But he's generally thinking about running it here with the freeze.
Well, I
Last
mean,
10
I think
seconds.
it's obviously the way that Kamei played that hand against him blind on blind, and you have to say, hang on, this is someone who like clearly is willing to step out. He doesn't know the hand with the bluff, but it's you know, you have to give him some percentage he's
Don't
bluffing.
deal after this hand. Luxon Pay tournament dealers, don't deal after this hand, please. Stop to deal,
Worried
please.
about Gadjev behind as well, of course. Yeah, does fold, and he'll be happy to see
all-in.
when he did fold. He was thinking about making the move that Gadjev finds the full bet jam, and Kamei going to ask for a count, but we know this is just pure posturing at this point.
Ah, yes, I know.
Not going to be calling off 800k. It's ace-9, and I also did hear in the background there, Jay, those fateful words. Dealers, please stop dealing. We're even about to go hand for hand, so any need to stall is about to be removed.
9. 1 million.
1 million.
Yeah, 1 million.
1 million.
Да. Это бабл сейчас будет призывной. Из-за этого надо только по
Here's a time bank chip, so maybe not quite done with this one yet. Have some history with Gadjev.
There'd have to be some history attempts to
Right.
3-bet call ace-9 suited on the bubble when covered, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean,
чуть больше.
okay, he does have 100k more, but 100k is just a couple of blinds at this stage of the tournament.
Last 10 seconds.
Effectively his life as well. And we're 5 away from the money.
Apologies, can't take the original bet into account. But even still, we're then going to be one of the favourites to go home without a penny in our pocket.
Okay,
One pulse,
19 is
20.
resumed. one of those, I feel like when in Gadgev shoes, you jam there and your opponent doesn't snap. You're like, okay, that's good, because you think they've not snapped, they were folding, and then they think for like 15, 20 seconds, you're like, okay, they're saving face. When the time bank chips start going, you're like, oh no, please, please don't do something silly.
Front off. Opening here.
Yeah, nicely from at this table. That might have something to say about this open. Jay's pointing to the sky.
Yeah, got to take this one. I'd be surprised if it's not taken, covering this heavily. The prime one to use, just make it a nice, healthy 8-9 big blinds. Maybe slightly smaller because of front stack size.
90.
Oh, it's tiny.
Just over 3x.
6 float.
90,000 declared. Now full of in one of those horrible spots where you're going to get forced to go to a flop. I mean,
yeah, 3-1 position with king queen off here, only needing 25% equity against range to continue. Yeah, I know. This is the problem. Let's just let it go.
Yeah.
Even with that price in front of him, not wanting to catch a top pair and potentially bust.
That's just good to say exactly what you're saying. Like your initial thought was 8 or 9 blinds, and you said actually don't have to go that big because of the situation we're in, and here you got exemplified by the fact that just over 3x elicited a fold from a hand in position,
literally,
and an okay hand like king queen.
Not even 5 blinds there, got the job done. Thought it might have been closer to 7 or 8 blinds, but just sub 5 does the same.
It's a show. Watching at home, learn about these little things here. Oh, these bubbles can play so differently as Phasma is pressing home his advantage over here at the Luxon table. Going in with the king 7 off, finding Kirichenko calling behind.
Yeah, I like this from Kirichenko, and really like the open from Phasma as well. When we got 100 bigs on the bubble, just any king will do from any position. Just having that little bit of removal to some resharps and 3-bets behind us.
5. На тебе легче, тебя не видят.
Now on this career spades turn, once again need to be thinking about our opponent's range. What's Kirichenko got here? What are we trying to target to fold out? And second barrel will potentially dislodge some like 7s through jacks. We're not going to be folding out a queen just
5
yet.
bet
Need to be aware of that.
350.
Club's doing a little bit of work in the form that king queen clubs is going to be in Kirichenko's range, so not a thing now, but only eradicating one combo. Really too big a deal.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, that I guess there's going to be some ace-highs that call flop. Obviously, fewer than usual given the situation we're in, but these 2 10s are just a little bit too much for Kirichenko to fold for now.
Kirichenko, good instincts against the chip leader. Spade on the river.
We have got one, Jay.
It's Phasma here. Feels he needs the bluff here, but what are we trying to fold out? I guess one good thing. Queen of spades on board, so like there's no pair flush draw stuff that's going to get there. Even like ace-5 suited should probably fold. Need 3-bet some of the time pre, so really hard for Kirichenko to get here in the form of a flush dems, which is kind of interesting. You think about, oh, we're just going to snap him off there with 10s.
This is savage stuff here, 900k.
But like, it's hard for Kirichenko to have a strong hand here. Like, he can have queen jack for sure. Queen's probably 3-bet pre, 5s and 3s are going to fold. But you think about some flushes that get hit. It's so hard for Kirichenko to have a flush with the queen of spades being on board.
And with this 10 of spades in our hands, does it almost become a better candidate to call than maybe some queen X hands? Because we block like the ace 10 of spades, 10-9 of spades, king 10 of spades, these kind of hands.
Even like 10-8 of spades, 10-7 of spades are going to open as well with this stack as Phasma. 7 off the money, so obviously 10s with a spade going to be an okay catch, but
still got to invest 900k, the 1.66.
Exactly, it's a real grim spot with the 10s here. But the thing is, it's difficult. We're thinking about what our range looks like. It's really hard for us to have boats here, Dempsey. It's really hard for us to have flushes. So when it's difficult for us to have the strongest hands, we do need to start dipping into maybe some Queen X to make some heroes with. But the problem is, like, we can't have King Queen off with a spade, Queen 10 off with a spade. It's just going to fold pre. So sick play from Pasma.
And I was curious the bet size as well. Obviously, sizable in relation to the pot, 900k into 1.1, but it wasn't the sort of size that makes our opponent know, hey, like, if you call here, you might well bubble. It was like leaving him an avenue back, and I wonder if maybe he was like, hang on a second, why is he, if he really was bluffing me, surely he would just bomb this.
It's the old leveling ward you get in your head sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
You level yourself in spots and you think, oh, he's got to have it here because if he was bluffing, we're on the bubble, he just sets in, but then the opponent knows that, so then he does different. It's the game we play, and it's why we love the game of poker.
Well, he certainly set out his stall on this bubble, as has Smolka over here at DTD Live. He's in the mix once more, this one. We'll take that spot a moment ago. Sure, you're not taking this one. Thought I heard hand for hand, but maybe they were just doing a count of the empty seats in the tournament room, just making sure before going hand for hand. Hence, there's still a bit of stalling going on.
The other thing, hearing that announcement, sometimes the psychological factor of it, you know you're getting closer and closer, so maybe, like here for example, Queen Deuce of Spades, pretty clear defending chip EV, but knowing that we're soon going to be hand for hand, just not wanting to get involved, let Smolka take it.
Tournament, please don't deal after this hand. Luxon Pay tournament, dealers, don't deal after this hand, please. Start to deal, please.
Okay, there we go. It looks like we have then reached the hand-to-hand. So over the pause before to count seats. We are going for it here. 5 away from the money. Perhaps the floor making a decision. There's perhaps some stalling going on. Well, I see Alex Goulder on his feet over at this table, but it's not he in the action. The 2-8 up against an ace queen, and the 2-8s holding. Can't see in the mix here, but looks like we do have an elimination.
Yeah, Sergio Lopez Sands with the ace queen there.
Dealers, next hand, please.
Not catching the whole action there on table number 11, but was Aziz Afi, another player busting just shy of the money. As we come back over to DTT Live, and once again it's this man who started the day opening wider than most, but kind of makes sense now with his table so congested at the start in terms of chips. He's just put a decent headway between him and the rest of the table. Just gives him this license on the bubble. Just any king, as I said, any suited queen, just gets to open a decent part of range.
Yeah. Nothing like it. I just noticed in the background, Jay, there, I see obviously the clock has been paused at this point. I think typically we take 2 minutes off the clock every hand, but if you look closer, you'll see there's only 1 minute left on this level. So blind's about to go up as well. 25-50, making this even more profitable for the likes of Smolka as they get to just pressurize their tables.
And like, you see how effective it is at this stage, like Jack 10 suited, just straight into the mark on the button, and like even the ace 2 suited here for Copiel.
Yeah, I mean, a healthy stack in his own right, but out of position against the guy who can just go blasting against me. Just fold and probably in a few minutes time be in the money.
Like, if we are going to pill, like, I think these ones are fine, the ones with robust equity that are going to make nutted hands. But forget pill, says the smoker. You've been opening too much, sir, and I've got an ace.
Yeah, and key here is it's got an ace and I can do a lot of damage to your stack. It's not like Schmolka's got him covered 2-1, is it? He has to kind of show some respect to this action.
Yeah, pretty nice find here from Copiel. Really nice take, great combo selection, suited wheel ace.
5.
Smoker happy to give one up.
I'm very happy you joined our team.
Alright. Asma once again in the action. Being 3-bit by Gadjev's ace queen.
Мы обычно работали по 30 секунд. У нас было
Asma going to go nowhere with the queen jack suited. And Gadjev perhaps maybe sizing. I mean, I guess a lot of sizes are going to be met with queen jack, but it seems still
5 check.
maybe a little on the small side. Just the fact that Pasma knows he's going to over-realize post-flop.
Yeah, this is the thing, and to be fair, another thing I can say, Pasma's hand might actually do some 4-bet jamming. Like, I know MP versus LP could definitely go for 4-bet send at like 25 to 30. And like this close to the bubble, are people really calling off 4-bet jams with like ace queen, ace jack? So when we are called by like the ace king, the 10s, 9s, we're still going to have decent equity as long as we're not running into the aces and kings, obviously halving the combos of queens and jacks. But maybe one of these that potentially does some 4-bet sending once in a while when we cover this heavily on the bubble. Gantiev starts with small, quarter pot on the king 8-8 rainbow, and 3 to flush, 3 to straight. It's the muck from Pasma there. Nice pick up for Gantiev. Every pot crucial at this stage when you are sub 30.
And then carry on. Field now showing 220, so 3 away from the money as play here will pause whilst they wait for the rest of the room to complete the action. One of those tables still playing is, of course, the Onyx. My goodness. As they peeled this one 7-8 in position against Smith.
Potential delay here for Smith with the idea of double barrels, like just target some pocket pairs. All the 8s through like 4s that are going to have to fold out on this turn. And it's a nice one to double barrel here as well. Like still some potential check back, jack X for our opponent in position. We're going to have the ace, king, king, queen as the early position open up. But as well as that, we should be playing some checks out of position to the button heads up. So can still have like some strong hands in terms of jacks and 9s. The 8 high just out of that.
Nicely done, Smith. Taking a couple of licks in the last orbit or so, but did build up before that. And just fine on this bubble. Onyx, they've completed their hand. Back over to DTD Live. Get one done. Copiel. It's like c-betting with this king high board having open. Needs to be battling once more. Now Schmolka taking the lead on that ace turn. These spots were kind of a little bit unfortunate for Schmolka that Copiel does have something because this may be a card he would barrel, but
yeah, and should be a check here now from Copiel just in terms of the flush advantage from the big blind. When he covers on the bubble, Schmolka gets to defend any 2 suit. It seemed like do 7 of clubs a thing, whereas we're not going to open that on the button.
Ooh, that's dirty.
Schmolka, after check on the turn, feel like the ace 10 is going to be the best of it enough for the time. Just expect like the queen 10, potentially some sets and 2 pairs to go for another streak. We feel like all this ace queen, ace 10 going to be checking back for our opponent though. Sometimes maybe value cut ourselves against ace queen specifically.
With the reach. Was it king out? Really just is that innocuous looking? Oh, I did. There we go.
Yeah, we absolutely love to see check here let's go beyond. Whoa, he checks it back, not wanting to be sprung by the check raise of Smoke Up.
Yeah.
Obviously knows he's capable.
I mean, I guess that, you know, you need your opponent to pretty much have a king to be calling that river card, right? We don't describe them too many ace-X that got past the flop. We do have a king ourselves blocking, maybe just waiting too much towards exactly saying the flushes that might go for.
We can still bet fold though, Dems.
Yeah.
We can bet fold. Like it's not necessarily that.
But maybe he's worried about bet fold. Maybe he's thinking of Smokers a sicko who might just.
It's fine to bet fold sometimes.
Right, okay.
It is fine to bet for value and fold to a raise.
Over at the Luxon, Kirichenko. Popping it up, ace-10 of hearts under the gun. Alton in the small call. We get to play at the stage of the tournament.
Yeah, that's a good fold.
Especially because the open's coming into that big blind. It's a scary proposition. Pasma finding junk. Let's it go. Pasma almost feels like he's like, I had to fold, I had nothing to get shown a real hand. Still 220 remain. Go out of table action. Like Espin's in the mix, or is he just chatting in the field? How much we know. Oh, does he have cards in front of him? Oh, it looks like, has he got most of his chips in play and thinking about flicking the last few in? Oh, well, hang on. We have an all-in over here. Kings v 10-7. Uzbekius. Flush draw there, maybe. Banashevich getting the double up with two kings on the bubble. And is this back to the Espin table, perhaps? Right.
To table number 10. That's all I've got for you, Demps. I don't know if it's Espin's table. We'll find out.
Oh, you're right. Table 10 there. Suited looks to be the covering hand, and then ace-5 suited for, I believe that's Hyderov. Sweating for his life. And a queen on the flop. There's 3 outs for Baru to continue in this tournament. Oh, hang on. 7 will get the job done. But no, not to be busting out just outside of the money. And then here we go, back at table, Espin. Ace King. Main event champ up against Ace Queen, okay. Looks like we want to flop dealt out. Oh, hang on, there's a third all in. What is going on?
Where did that King Queen come from?
It just fell from the sky and straight draw materializing, but probably perhaps the Ace King of Espin holding, and is that? Couldn't see who busted. Espin holding on. We have a flip. Table 19, 10's the Ace King. And we're missing a card. There it is, the Deuce of Clubs. Hiding behind there. It's a red Ace King. And that is the end of run. So I believe Kamal Aslan, there you go, confirmation on the screen. It is he who busts out now, and finding it hard to keep up now. I mean,
the ticker top right is keeping up with us, so 219 left at the moment, so 4 off the money. It's pot for the Ace Jack, but it's 2-3-5 for a wheel.
Wow, wow, wow.
For a chop is not there.
Pardon me, I was in my mind making it 270, making the money earlier. Hence the confusion for you at 250, you're right. And there we go. It says we're down to 216 players now remaining. Looks like every hand has now completed, so we will get everyone reset and then get another hand underway. We just need one elimination. Well, Espen's got heaps now at three-way all in. Text in the backers, do you think? Hey guys, we're about to main cash this 2K.
I don't think
Can
so.
I play the main? Will I cash this? Something like that?
Highly unlikely, Dennis.
Okay. All right then. Play is underway. Just like that. Over here. Zainescu. First chance to see her in the pot. Ace deuce of diamonds from the button. 325k pot. So looks like just a flat for her to a min raise.
Yeah, check flop, I'm guessing. Really like the check from Guinness on the flop, could definitely spring the check raise, but check back and just turn the 9 of clubs to make our flush.
Prima carte care o văd și mai frumoasă în afară, dar ați dat mai a doua carte. Știi de ce am jucat? Că joc din poziție. A 10 suite.
Dar nu e bine, că n-are rost să faci 3 bets, te bagi
Ah, normal. Ce ai? Mai ales.
5 seconds left. 3, race 125.
I've been over at DTD Live.
4, fold.
I'm going to try
5, fold.
2-8.
6, fold.
Kai Gorjev. 2 fours in the big, but covering stack.
Yeah, it's a really awkward one here. I'm actually not sure how to play this one as
Plus 5 seconds.
the big blind. Because when Cypin opens off this stack and he just makes it 2.5 bigs rather than playing send, like he's just going to play a lot of sends off 12 bigs. So I'm not sure if there's like any folding going on here, perhaps with the fours, but just going to take his price to set mine.
Yeah, this must be one that's so player dependent. You can imagine plenty of players you would just jam this in over. Some you would maybe, like you said, not even just peel. 50k C-bet from the 2-8s who don't enjoy seeing that board, but Igorojev sticking around with the 2 fours for that min bet. Wow, what a dreamy card that is. If you're betting with 8s no heart and you find the 8 of spades.
Three, bet. 200. 7, fold.
Barrel leads to a swift fold. On DTD live table. If you're just joining us, you've joined us at just the right time. It is bubble time here at the Luxon Pay Grand Final. 216 remain, 215 paid. A min cash of $4,000 in this 2K buy-in event. 1,452 entries took part in this event over 4 starting flights. They've all returned today, and today we're going to get down as far as we can towards that final table. Still not a definitive end time in sight because so many players in here, Jay. It's not quite sure how close we'll get to that final table.
I think it will be one of those, the bubble goes and then the next 2 hours we'll lose half the field and then it will just slow down again.
For sure, yeah, I can see us being inside the final 100 very quickly once this bubble bursts. Asma facing is C-bet on this King, Queen, Queen board.
Pasma getting to peel this hand as big cover and stack. Making it 2-2-5 here. And tall ace, queen, ace of diamonds. Just going to call here. I know we can see Pasma's got this flush draw, but our hand is just way too good. And when the chip leader's incentivized to like check rates like Jack 9 of clubs here, hands that are drawing so thin in terms of equity, we just keep all of these in. like if we saw Pasma's actual hand, we're not loving life, letting him realise with a flush draw this close to the money, but try and take whole cards.
We do have an ace of diamonds
out of it, yeah.
Working as well. We can always redraw.
Like we get the money from a queen anyway, Damps. This is like the key, but we just want to keep the bluffs in. But there it is. Does go for the free bet.
Clicky.
Just not the biggest fan.
This is obviously designed to be like, hey, I know you're going to be check raising me loads on this board texture, and then I'm not supposed to really have raises because I'm supposed to be worried about busting. So when I do click raise, it's so polar that maybe you can induce Pasma to really go for it.
I just feel like when he's got like 10-9 suited here, Jack-9 suited, all
he has gone for it.
But fair play to Tool. Does get the induce in from Pasma, but he's got to sweat one out on the money.
Oh, I mean, beautifully done. Gets him to send it in. Snap calls. Exactly what you said. I mean, Pasma's probably got more outs than Tool was expecting to see. I don't know if he actually got sight of it. Obviously, Pasma went to table the hand as he would do all in, but of course, we are hand for hand. All hands must be kept face down until dealing is finished on all tables.
Works perfectly in this given scenario because we induce from the flush draw, but I just feel like Pasma's going to have a lot of this, like Jack-10, Jack-9, 10-9 suited, may even get out of line with like a ace-X, a club, something like that. So I think on the overall spectrum, maybe a hand that does just want to call. But if we know our opponent and we go for the free bet induce, fair play to Tool if he's taking the dynamic into account and thinks that Pasma's just going to send and put him in the blender.
His teammates are sweating. Pasma knows he's walked into something here, but knows he's drawing live. It's Tool the one, even though he has the best hand, he's sitting there going, hey, like a bunch of the time, I'm going to be eliminated here. Being made to sweat, we can see 22% of the time he will be out on the bubble. Pasma. Of course, worth noting, if there are a multitude of all-ins on the outer tables at the same time as this, if two players were to bust at the same time from different tables, then they would share the 215th payout. So say Tool busts out here and we lose someone elsewhere, and they would actually get $2,000 each. So all is not necessarily lost in this situation if he busts.
And just having a look at Pasma now. Little quick hendon of the man. Does actually have a WSOP Europe bracelet, which came in Rosvedov about a year and a half ago, 120,000 euro.
Next large field. Okay, here we go. We're going to start off on our table. We will now get the sort of bad news, I guess, that he is sort of up against it equity-wise. Probably expecting to be in a better shape than this.
You just want him to have a queen, don't you?
Right.
Just give him 3 outs. Not the flush draw. But here we go.